So hi! So last week I made a video showing off my crochet eggs, and this week I decided I'll make a tutorial to show you how you can make your own. So if you want to learn how to make them, follow me along and I'll teach you. And this tutorial that I make is very beginner friendly, so if you already know how to crochet and you don't need a detailed tutorial, you can just check the link in my description, which will take you to my website, and there you can access a free written version of the pattern. Okay, now let's go. Okay, so in order to make these Easter eggs, I'm going to be using this baby snuggle print. This color in particular is called turquoise and yellow. But honestly, since it's a very simple pattern, you can just be using any yarn you want. Just take into account the thicker the yarn and the thicker the hook, the larger the eggs will be, and the opposite as well. So the thinner the yarn and the thinner the hook, the smaller the eggs will be. And I also like to use chenille yarns for these eggs because like this they're like a small plush, and it's just how I like them. But you can make them honestly in any yarn you want. Then we're gonna need a hook. So because I'm using this chenille yarn, I'll be using a 6mm hook. In the packaging here, it actually recommends a 7mm hook, but I've always used 6mm. But I wouldn't go smaller than this. So 6mm, 7, perhaps you can go even a bit bigger, but yeah, I always use 6. And then you'll need some scissors. You'll need some stitch markers. And if you don't have, and you'll need some filling. And if you don't have any stitch markers because you're just beginning to crochet, you can use like a long piece of scrap yarn as your stitch marker. And I will show you in a moment how to use this as a stitch marker. So, and the other thing you'll need is a tapestry needle. So this is a needle which has like a bigger eye than normal so that you can actually fit your yarn through. And it's also not that sharp. So let's begin with our Easter egg. So the first step in crocheting our Easter eggs is making a magic ring and then crocheting 6 single stitches into it. So if you're a beginner and you don't know how to do a magic ring, this is the way I do it. So I grab first the yarn tail here and I wrap it first twice around my pinky and then twice around my index like this, making a cross in front of my index. And then what I do is I grab my hook and I put it through my eggs, grab some yarn from behind it, turn my hook as I do so, and then yarn over again and pull it through this loop you had. So like this. Now when we release it, we have a magic loop. So you can pull a bit on your tail and you'll see that your loop closes a bit, and this means that it's working. So now we're crocheting 6 into our magic loop. So we stick, first I'm gonna grab the yarn. So how I like to grab it is in this way, wrapping it around my index or passing it over my index and then wrapping it around my pinky, and this helps me have good tension. And then what I'm gonna do to crochet 6 into the magic loop is just stick the hook in the loop and just single crochet. So that's 1, and we can also mark it with the stitch marker just to make sure that we don't get it lost, because in particular with this printed yarn can be perhaps a bit confusing to see the stitches. So yeah, you can mark it. You can, in order to mark it, you just pass the stitch marker through both V's in the stitch and then close it. And there we have our first stitch mark. So I'll just finish crocheting this round and then I'll see you at the end of the round to teach you how to close your magic ring. Okay, so I've now got 6 single crochets into my magic ring. And now what I'm gonna do is pull this loop that I was working on, like that I had on my hook, like really big, remove the hook, just that it doesn't get undone. And now I'm going to try to close the magic ring. So this can be sometimes a bit difficult with chenille yarns. It can be that the yarn breaks. In order to try and make it easier for yourself, try to make the stitches that you make into the magic ring not very tight, but it's sometimes can be a bit difficult to close it. So just don't give up on closing it. Like if the yarn snaps, just do it again and try again. Like honestly happens to everyone. And in particular with baby snuggle, I feel like it's often a problem to close magic rings. So I think this one is a failure. So I'll try to close it, and if not this one, I'll close another magic ring and I'll show you. So now I've got a closed magic ring. It took a few trials with this yarn. It's a bit difficult to close. But yeah, like what you can do if you don't like how close the hole is here in the middle, you can always, when you have a bit more of project done, you can go to the wrong side of your work and weave in this tail and like close it fully. But like I think like this is good for now. So now we have these 6 single crochets in the first round. The ring is closed, and now what we're going to do in the next round is we need 12 single crochets. So what we have to do is we have to increase. So we are gonna increase in every single crochet in the previous round, which means that we have to make 2 single crochets into each of the single crochets from the previous round. So be careful, don't grab your tail instead of the working yarn. So we're gonna wrap this like this to get good tension, and just yarn over, pull through, then pull through both loops in the hook. Then you have your first single crochet, which you should mark with a stitch marker to make sure that you don't forget which one is the first crochet of this round. And then again in the same hole, make it again. So again in this same hole where you stuck your crochet hook before, you go again, yarn over, pull 1 loop, and then pull through both loops. And there you have here your first increase, and you'll do this across the whole round. So I'll do that now and meet you at the end of the round. A bit of a time jump here, but I wanted to wait to have a bit more of the breakdown to be able to properly show you how to use a scrap piece of yarn as a stitch marker. So what I'm gonna do is first remove my stitch marker from here. So this is the beginning of my new round. And what you're gonna do is just put your yarn like what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your yarn here right on top of where you're gonna be, like right on top of the single crochet where you're gonna be stitching onto, and then you can grab your working yarn properly and then just single crochet as normal. And like this, as you see, you're trapping your scrap yarn here in the first single crochet of the round, and this helps you to mark the round, but like it's a lot more fussy than using a stitch marker, and you can accidentally put it out. And I would just in general recommend buying stitch markers if you're into crocheting, because they're really not that expensive and they're really useful, particularly for crocheting on the round. But like if it's just something that you're trying out and you don't have stitch markers, this can work. So anyway, now back to the tutorial. Okay, so we're now here at the end of the second round. You should have 12 stitches across, and like you should be again at your stitch marker. So now the third round, we're just doing an increase and then a single crochet. So you will end up with 18. So this means that you single crochet 2 into your first single crochet from the previous round, and then 1, and then 2, then 1, and then the whole way across. So I'll do that now and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm now at the end of round 3. So we now have 18 stitches around, and now we're gonna have the last round where we'll be increasing. So in this round we will end up with 24. So what we do for this is we increase, then we do 2 single crochets, increase and 2 single crochets, and like this the whole way around, and you'll end up with 24. So I'll do that now and I'll see you there. Okay, So I'm now at the end of round 4. I have 24 stitches around, and now for the next rounds the only thing we have to do is just continuously single crochet around. So rows 5, 6, 7 and 8, we're just going around single crocheting the whole way around, and you'll stay with 24 single crochets around. So now I'll do until the end of round 8 and I'll meet you there. So I'm now at the end of round 8, and as you can see we already have like the bottom half of our crochet egg done. And like right now, if you don't like how close this bottom gap you have is, like in my case I think it's a bit open there, so I would like to close it a bit more. So what you can do is flip your piece so that you have your wrong side showing, and then thread in your tapestry needle, so like thread your yarn through, and then what you can do is just like pass your needle through the loops here in the wrong side, so try to make sure that the yarn is not coming over onto the right side, which is the part which will be outside. So just thread your needle, like pass your yarn tail through here, through these inner loops, and just pull. So like this you'll see that the hole starts closing more and more, and if you do it through the 6 initial loops, like you'll fully close the hole, so you won't be able to see it anymore. So you can just pass it through and pull, and as you see the hole here is already closing, and yeah, if you do it through the 6 loops it will be fully closed. So I'll finish this off quickly and I'll come back to show you what to do for round 9. So as you can now see, the hole here in the bottom for me is fully closed, so even though I push with my finger you cannot see it at all, so that's fine for me. The rest of this tail, you can cut it, like I think I leave it like this, but you can cut it a bit if you want. I would leave a bit of tail just to make sure that it doesn't come undone, and like then when you put your stuffing it would like tangle on your stuffing and just fully secure the piece. But anyway, so now I'm gonna continue with round 9. So round 9 is the first round where we're gonna be decreasing. So when working on the round like this continuously on amigurumi style pieces, I like to make an invisible decrease. And what this is that you just grab here, if you can see, I'm just grabbing here the outside loop from my stitch, so just the front loop, and here from the next stitch, which is the one that I want to crochet together, also just the front loop. So like this, and now you yarn over, you pull through these 2 loops, and then you pull through, you yarn over again and you pull through these other 2 loops, and there you've crocheted together 2 stitches in a way that it's really not very visible, and there you mark it. So in this case we had 24 on round 8. At the end of round 8 we had 24 around, and now we want to go back to 18. So what you're gonna do is decrease, then 2 single crochets, decrease, then 2 single crochets, and like this all the way around, and you'll end up with 16 single crochets. So I'll do that now and I'll see you at the end of the round. So I'm now at the end of round 9 and I have 18 stitches around, and what we're gonna do for round 10 is just again single crochet all the way around, so you will have again 18 stitches around. And why we're doing this is because in order to make like the egg shape that is like a cone on top, we have to decrease lower than we increased, and like this we will give it this nice egg shape. So I'll now do round 10 and I'll see you at the end of it. So I'm now at the end of round 10, so we only have 3 rounds left, and now once again what we're gonna be doing is decreasing. So at the end of round 11 we want to have 12 stitches around, so what we're gonna do is decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and like this all the way around until you will come back to this point and have 12 stitches. So I'll do that now and see you there. So I'm now at the end of round 11, so I now have 12 stitches around, and what you can do now, because like this diameter is gonna keep getting smaller and smaller, although in round 12 we're just again single crocheting all the way around, but like either now or at the end of next round, then you have to start filling it up. So I like to do a bit now and then finish it off, or almost finish it off at the end of round 12. So what you can do to fill it up is get a bit of your stuffing, fluff it up a bit, and then just start pushing it in. You'll be surprised because like it seems like it's really small, but it actually needs quite a lot of stuffing for how small it is. And like I said before, I like to like move it a bit around to tangle a bit my yarn tail there. And another thing that you can do is like use these tiny scraps of yarn, which are too short to have any other kind of use, and you can mix in a bit of them with your stuffing so that you actually like have a bit more volume, and you can use this so that it doesn't get thrown, because this is way too small, it wouldn't have any other use. So just like this, mix it a bit more stuffing, and just like this until it's more or less full. Don't fill it up like until the rim yet, because you're still gonna have to crochet a couple more rounds, and if it's really full, the stuffing is gonna be getting in the way of your crocheting. Okay, so now my egg is more or less full. You can still add a bit more stuffing afterwards. Now I'm going to do round 12, so this is the round before last. And in this one, we're just gonna single crochet all the way around again. So we'll just end up again with 12 stitches around. So I'll do that now. Okay, so I'm now at the end of round 12. So now, like, is a good moment to like top up your stuffing. So like just fill it up almost that it's completely full, because then when you only have 6 stitches across, it's gonna be a bit hard. So it's sometimes a bit hard to know how much stuffing to use. Like you have to use enough that your like shape of your whatever you crocheted is firm and looks as it should, but also not so much that it's starting to pull stitches apart, or that it's looking like that it's feeling too hard. So yeah, it's a bit like just trial and error, to be honest. So you just finish stuffing this, and I'll meet you at the end just for the last round. Okay, so now we're ready to begin our last round, so round 13. And for this, we're just gonna be decreasing the whole way around, so that we end up with 6 stitches around. Okay, so now we're at the end of round 13, and basically we've almost finished our piece. So now what I would do is just like remove this stitch marker, because we don't need it anymore, and just top of your filling, just like make sure you have as much filling as you want, that your egg feels soft but like holds shape. And once you do this, I'll teach you how to close off your egg. So I'm now happy with the amount of filling my egg has. I think it's still soft but firm. So now what you're gonna do to finish off your egg is you have to cut here your yarn that where you were working with. So you cut it here, and then you pull this loop that like you were working in, like all the way through. So like this, now your piece will not become undone. And what you do now is you thread your tapestry needle, you thread your yarn through your tapestry needle, and then what we're gonna be doing to close it off is you're gonna go through the outer loops of your last 6 single crochets, so only these outer ones. So like this, just all the way through with your yarn. And I like to go through all of them. Some people say it's not necessary, but I like to go through the 6 loops. And then you see when you pull, it's closing off this hole here. So I've now sewn all the way around through all of these outer loops. And as you see now, the piece is fully closed, but it has this small peak here, which in this case it's an egg, so it doesn't matter that much, but still, so that it's not so pronounced, and also to fully secure, like make sure everything is 100% or 200% secure. What I like to do is I like to stab my piece, let's say, through this center hole, or where this center hole would be, and then just stab it through and put your needle anywhere, like out anywhere you want. Like this doesn't matter at all. You can just put it through and just pull all of your yarn through, and you see now this is even a bit sunken, but that's not a problem because you can just massage it back into shape. You see, now it looks like an egg again. So now what you can do, or what you should do, is you go back into your piece through the same hole that you pull out your yarn. So through exactly the same hole so that it's invisible where you went out, and you go through another random place. And like this, what you're doing is you're tangling your yarn tail with your stuffing, and you're making sure that everything is secure. So you can do this as many times as you want. I like to do it like 3 to 5 times just to be extra sure. Okay, so I've now done this approximately 5 times, I think. So I think now it's more than secure. So what you should do now is remove your needle and just cut your tail. So cut it more or less close to your piece, like here. And then you see there's this fluffy little thing here. But what you can do is just push it in with this thicker part of your needle a bit. And then you can just massage it around. And as you see, it's completely gone. So now you cannot see it anywhere. And your egg is finished and ready. Okay, so we're now done with our egg. And we can just add it to our basket. If you enjoyed this video, this tutorial, and it was helpful to you, please comment down and give me a like, and please subscribe for more tutorials on crocheting and other fun hobbies. Okay, bye!